Oh Lord. Tide ho. Oh Lord. Ho tide. Lord. Oh
Tide
my.
ho.
Wait a minute. Oh Lord.
Hey, you guys.
Hello.
Extra.
You know, I'm
Just
just being a
extra.
girl. Just
Extra,
just gotta
extra.
bring the
Oh my
sunshine,
goodness.
uh I feel like, you're saying that this is your show and it's not your show. And I want you to understand that I will fight for my right to be on my show. Let's talk
Okay,
about that.
before you fight me, can I get your name?
Oh girl, I am oh Lord. I keep wanting to call myself your name, so it was like I had to pause as I was saying it because I was like I was going to say yours, but I was like, let me not do that.
Oh, weird. And I'm Todd Ho, the leader of the T.O. show.
No, you're not.
And this is the T.O.
Oh no, you're not.
show. Oh, we hope you guys enjoyed part one of Bad Boys Club.
Yes.
We had to
I
do a
really
part
didn't want to,
two.
but he is true. He is right. We've been trying to make sure that we keep things under an hour or more. That
Mm-hmm.
we want to try to keep things under 2 hours, especially because that's just a lot to expect of people to watch and
To
listen to us
sit and
talk about
listen.
two. Yeah, that's just a lot. So we fixed it. We're gonna make this work.
All righty. So let's just get into it
Yeah,
because you're
we're
ready.
diving.
Okay. So you can start it off. You was starting with Kalvin and Steve, and that's where we left off on
Yes.
you guys.
Basically what happened was Steven had basically was trying to silence Calvin. If you don't remember last time we were talking about Steven versus Calvin, the startup of that situation. So
Mm-hmm.
basically he said that and Calvin was like, "Oh, I'm gonna keep talking, I'm gonna do what I wanna do," and he kept trying to silence him. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I would have been Calvin as well because it's like, girl, first of all, I don't know you.
Exactly.
Now, as my friend, if me and you are friends and I silence you and you silence me, most likely I silence you. That's fine. But if it's like, girl, I don't know you and you sitting here, oh, be quiet. Excuse me?
Who are you? Who are you?
Who are you silencing? Who are you
Oh.
telling to be quiet?
But you can clearly see that he wanted a moment and a
Yes.
long one to try to pump
And the
this guy.
problem is you're one in a moment, but you're not on the show.
Yeah.
That was my
And what?
issue. It was just that was my issue with the whole thing. It's like I'm gonna just say this in general. I don't understand why you're wanting in a moment and you are not a cast member.
Yeah.
Something about that just does not make sense to me.
And where we at of talking to people any kind of way?
Right.
I never known that. Um, yes, he picked the dark skinned black boy, which Calvin is dark skinned, and he's a good
He's
looking skinned
he's
person.
gorgeous.
Just we need a skin routine from him. That's all. But he's still beautiful. He's
Yes.
still beautiful. At the end of the day, just gorgeous. All that good chocolate. And it's just ironic that he's talking, to Calvin like that. At
Yeah.
the end of the day. So go ahead, girl.
Which he was kind of doing too much with that. But basically, what happened is they got into an argument. They started fussing with each other, and Calvin, nonchalantly was like, "What you're doing is definitely not giving weed. It's not giving uh alcohol. It's giving coke. Maybe you did some coke." And that changed the entire conversation to where now Steven was wanting to fight Calvin.
Mm-hmm.
And they started yelling at each other, arguing, bickering, and all this and that. Um,
This is how I dig.
uh-huh.
But I think the point that's what we do. Well, let me tell you something. It's not that tired if it gets to you.
Yes.
You gotta understand that. And just like people saying with Giselle on Potomac when they be saying get mad, because that really hurts Giselle.
Right.
It be hurting her. So
It
it's not
definitely
tired.
hurts her in the way that she comes back the next season and tries to make sure she gets you out of the show.
Mm-hmm. So it's not tired. It's just a thing, and it's a common thing we do in the gay community where we say powder because a lot of people done powder.
Yeah.
Hell, I've done powder
It's
before.
a party
Not
drug. It's a
anymore.
party drug in the community that a lot of people have done.
Yes. So it's a common thing. So it's
Yes.
yeah. It's just the dead, and she didn't like it. It was more so that she felt like it was on camera, and that's what the tea
I
was.
could
But
see
go
that
ahead,
too
girl.
being a part of why she was annoyed. I think it was that, but I also think it's like, don't say that I'm doing that because that's a negative, basically. Oh, excuse me. But basically, they did that. They start bickering and arguing and cussing at each other, yelling at each other, this and that.
He
And,
got what he wanted.
huh?
He got what he wanted.
Yeah.
He wanted to argue with him. He got what he wanted.
He wanted a moment because even though he's not on the show, he still wanted a moment on the show. You get what I'm saying?
There you go. Yep.
So Kalvin decides to go to the bathroom. Then he went to the bathroom, right?
It was mostly transferred into the bathroom or whatever the case
Right.
may be. It was kind of like he was walk. One of them walked towards the bathroom, and the other one followed her suit. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was more so that Calvin walked to the bathroom because Steve was on the hunt. He was more upset than Calvin.
He was.
Calvin
I
was just
mean,
like,
as he should. I
"Girl."
do get it. I get it because I would be mad too if somebody accused me of that too.
Yes, but
However,
I think
go
when
ahead.
you poke at people, yeah, they want to hit a nerve, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm gonna hit that nerve."
Oh, absolutely.
That's all it's
Oh,
about. Because
absolutely.
it's like you came started with me. You don't know me, so I don't owe you anything. What's gonna come out of my mouth because you don't know me. You started with me,
True.
and that's just what
Very
it is.
true.
That's it. That's the story. So yeah, pretty much. So it advanced because if I'm not mistaken, Calvin walked to the bathroom and he was behind him, and I think the point is he was making himself more mad about the situation because I guess he kept on just rewinding in his mind and kept on saying coke. I don't do coke. I don't do. I'm like, well, girl, it's giving like you doing coke. I heard coke so many times out your mouth. I mean, girl,
Right.
if you don't do it, you don't do it, or whatever the case may
But
be.
doing all this extra is like, girl, it kind of feels like maybe you do it. You know?
Look what they keep on. Well, Ford, when Ford got mad about that coke situation, how it, you know, what I'm saying it's just like the more you get upset with it, and the more you let it affect you,
True.
it really shows some truth to it. Because if you don't do something, or you didn't do something, I understand that. Again, we're on the show. People can take that and run with it or whatever. Like they say, you do coke or whatever the case may be. And yes, you don't want that out there. But I think my point is, people are gonna always make up things about you, and people are gonna say whatever they want to say. It's about how much light you give to it.
True.
You make your statement and just move on. The more you fight, the more it is, or whatever the case. But that's been going on for a long time with Ford. This is just the first time me seeing this boy. I don't know if it happened on a previous season he was on. They were talking about it, and he had to clear it up then again. I mean, there,
Uh-huh.
and now he over here. Y'all can correct me in the comments if it was. I don't know, but he was too upset about it to me personally.
Right. Agreed. So basically, they're in the bathroom. Calvin, which I didn't understand why he did it, decided to stand on top of the toilet, which did not make a
I'm
lot of
gonna.
sense. But it worked out in his favor a little bit because as soon as they started fighting, he kind of sort of. Do you feel like he won, or what do you think?
It was a quick fight,
Yes.
and the reason why it was a quick fight because there wasn't that much space and opportunity. I think it was a quick fight. It wasn't that much space and opportunity because remind you, I felt like both cameras was in there.
Right.
Mind you, guys, they got these huge cameras that they're holding up, and it's just like it's not that much space and opportunity. And let's be very clear. I know Quran had a long talk with them about breaking up these people's shit and let alone fucking up them cameras.
Right.
And he started a GoFundMe for them cameras. So don't mess up the fans' money. Absolutely not. Just gotta put that out there because he be getting them together, especially like when some of them was arguing in the hallway, and he was like, "Hey, y'all can't do that out here." You know what I'm saying? Just
He
saying.
did. He did.
So I think it's more so that.
Yeah.
that they didn't want to mess up them cameras. I think that was probably the first rule. Like, you break, you buy. So they must be on the contract not to break them.
That's true. You're right. You're right. So basically, they started fighting Kalvin and Steven. Now, again, as I said previously, Steven is not a cast member. He is a friend of. He's allegedly. They said that he's related to Hayes.
He's not. They said that's his friend. They be saying cousin. They be saying cousin in Boston. It's not really his friend. I mean, that's not really his cousin.
Girl, it don't make sense, but okay. Because
No,
they kept saying it, and then they're like, no, we're not related, but we're related.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, girl, okay, sure.
Like whatever. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I felt like I felt like it was a tie or whatever the case may be. Like, they both fought or whatever the case may be. Once we have seen Calvin hands, I don't think he was gonna mess with him anymore.
Yeah.
Them hands are too good. So they break them up and all that, and then of course it comes this tirade of just yelling. And mind you, Hazel got tired of the noise and started poking up and just like, just shut up, just shut up, just shut up, just. I wish you would have did that when it was your turn to shut up.
I mean, honestly, when it was your turn and somebody else, but let's talk about it later. Wig. Yeah, so they had that, and I feel like honestly, Steven did too much with that, and he kept going and going and going about it. And it was kind of just like, oh, okay, cool, I'm over it. I was kind of honestly over it after that. Because it's like, yeah, did he make that comment? Yes. Was it probably the right comment? No.
No. But I think if you're more so concerned about you not being perceived as a cokehead, I think you would want to talk in a lower tone and let alone just be serious about it. Say, hey, look. But again, that goes to prove that you was trying to fight with this boy. You was picking at this boy. Because the person would say that, I was like, hold on now. Or whatever the case it be. But like I said, the only reason why it came out that way, came out his mouth of you being outraged or something like that because you was fucking with him for no reason. Right. Here we go. The end. So let's get on to other activities. Well, it was a lot of comments coming from Steven about which call him being dark.
He called him a roach.
Yeah, microaggressions.
He went straight to that. Yeah.
So,
but he lost because he was bleeding. Because if you see the bathtub, he was it was blood deep in that bathtub, girl. Let's talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Calvin, the hands on fire.
Mm-hmm. But after that, I think after that, what was it?
After that, then the comments started about, a situation happened where they were saying that an orgy happened in the front.
Yes.
In the living room. And then it transferred to the bedroom where the Handsoms were supposed to be staying.
See, don't you hate that name? It's terrible. It's a terrible name.
Okay. Where Chase and Justin and also Kalvin was sleeping in the bed or whatever the case may be, and then Lilo decides to join.
Oh, well, let's start that off with how that situation set up, because there's a allegation against Lilo that basically in that conversation when Lilo, Justin, and Kalvin were in the room together, Justin was asleep from, they was partying.
Mm-hmm.
And Lilo said Lilo was touching him inappropriately. Catch where I'm going with that, you guys. I can't say the term. Y'all know how it is with the YouTube. You know how it is. Lilo was touching him inappropriately. And so he had to... Basically, Kalvin brought it to Justin's attention
Yeah, he was touching Justin. He was touching
Other people.
Kalvin too. And Kalvin, he was touching Kalvin too. He said
Yes.
he was touching Kalvin too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even the other guy who's allegedly his cousin, Hayes.
Oh, so Hayes got a bunch of people. Hazel, his name Hayes, girl, whatever. So he got.
Can I ask you a question?
I guess
Why
he
did
was
you
saying
call
it,
him Hayes Hazel?
it don't matter what I'm calling him. He
Wig.
lucky I'm not calling him a clown.
Wig.
So he got upset because, like I said, it was an argument that night, by the way, because he was trying to. Lilo was trying to get close to Justin
And
This is
Kalvin.
when the
And Kalvin had no urge to do any of that when they were all
yes,
sleeping in the living room or wherever the other bedroom. And
it was in the
yeah.
bedroom, and then Chase came and laid down
Uh-huh.
next to Justin and kind of like moved Lilo out the way, and Lilo got mad
He did.
about it,
And was trying to
and it was
argue.
a whole argument. Yes, that nobody wanted a butcher.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Okay.
That nobody wanted him.
Yeah. Which came the next morning, or if I'm not mistaken, when they said it was a week later or a couple of days later, I don't know when this was brought up again. Long story short, it was brought up.
It was
again.
a week. It was a week.
It was a, mm-hmm. And again, it was brought up, they had the conversation, and it went left.
Mm-hmm.
For all parties involved, which was Justin said he didn't know about him being touched when he was laying down asleep or whatever case
Yes.
may be. Lilo claiming that he wasn't asleep. Lilo was trying to get his words together because Lilo, I'm telling you, I don't know if it's a Boston thing, but the girls can't get their words
Let's
together.
talk about. Okay.
I would give him grace because when you're being accused of something like that, a lot of times some people do. I would be stunned if I didn't realize I'd done something to someone or whatever
Yeah.
the case may be. I'm just saying, and I'm being accused of something. Wait, what's going on? Because you're trying to process it. And I think with him, it takes him a week to get it.
Wow.
Well,
Well,
where's the liar?
I guess,
Okay.
girl.
So he's scrambling. Hazel, hey, how you doing, baby? Case is kind of confirming what Kalvin is saying about Lilo, or whatever the case may be. Lilo said he was drunk, and like I said, Hazel is trying to help Lilo out because Lilo don't know where he want to go with the conversation. Because when he started talking, he started talking and saying, if I like you, if I'm into you, I'm gonna touch you, or whatever the case may be, and I don't think that was the best statement, and Hazel was trying to help him out. Hazel, whatever, asthma. There you go.
Right.
Was trying to help him out, and at the same time, it wasn't working because Lilo kept speaking, and everything was coming out his mouth was giving very predatory. So he did apologize for the situation at the end of the day, and far as we knew, the situation was eventually squashed. And Lilo was more fussing about why did it take so long to be brought up versus then. And I'm like, well, technically they were in an argument over the situation, or whatever case may be. And he just brought it to the house attention a week later. So it's not as if he never brought it up.
Right.
Or whatever.
Also, he was mad about, I think he was embarrassed because it was brought up on such a public forum that because you're doing something like what you did, it would look poorly on you that you're a pervert. Let's just be honest. Ooh, that wasn't the word I was supposed to say.
And I think, with a lot of these situations, the way they're handling them, like, y'all might want to handle it in a way where y'all can get y'all point across versus like, oh, I want to fight. Or whatever case it be. Because it's like, it's really leaning towards that you might have done it.
Right.
Just saying. And what he said himself, like I said, it gave that, okay, well, maybe you have done this because your statement is like, if I like you, I'm going to touch you with. What the fuck is that? Okay, girl.
Right.
Hold on. And, So, a week passed later. Mind you, this is in that time frame. And then the girls come back. They decide to go out. I don't know, for some reason
It was
this
the
group decided for
ballroom.
them to go
They were
out.
going to the ball. That's why.
Okay. Some reason when the girl's trying to go out or do something, a fight breaks out or whatever the case may be. But before that, just a quick little side note: Justin and Chase and Calvin went to the club and they had a good time. And then, mind you, Chase and Justin was supposed to have a little thing going on because they made out and they was into
Even
each other and
though
stuff like that.
Calvin
So,
and Case did have something earlier, because remember they showered together and everything. So it's like, yeah,
mm,
it was a lot of hooking up. By the way, you guys, it was a lot of hooking up on the show.
exactly. Yeah. So we found out later that that Pisces had a boyfriend, which is Calvin. So let's talk about it. He was apologizing to his boyfriend because he know his boyfriend or a person he was dating and to know that this is gonna come up. I want to let you
Ahead
know
of time.
ahead of
Also,
time.
the boyfriend, girl,
Oh, the boyfriend was cute. The
everything.
boyfriend was
The
cute.
boyfriend
Calvin
was
is
a better
into
choice.
Latino.
The boyfriend was a better choice. I'm so sorry. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Again, like
I'm
I
just saying.
said.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm so sorry, girl.
Okay. Okay. So, like I said, all that jazz happened
Uh
between the
huh.
girls and stuff like that. So they had like a three-way hookup, low key. Let's
But it
just say
wasn't. It wasn't a
Case
three
Case
way.
was the peanut butter and it was the
It wasn't
bread.
that, because the setup was that Case was talking to Justin separately, and they were supposed to do something, and he talked to. Actually, he didn't really talk to Calvin. I think there was
But I
more.
don't think it was something to even be taken
I
so
can see
serious.
that.
It's just like when two guys got there, y'all high, y'all into each other, y'all just play around with each other. That don't mean y'all take anything serious. So I feel like it was never something serious on both ends. But besides Calvin having a thing at home that he was really into, so that's different. So, but for us with Justin and Case, even though they were saying like Justin was really mad, I don't even think Justin was really like that mad. It's like, okay, well, like what the hell is this? Whatever, that's your thing or whatever the case may be. Because the way they was trying to put it when Case was acting a certain way, Justin was like, just why are you acting like that? Like, let's go. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't what they was trying to perceive. Production was trying to perceive it with or whatever. Case trying to have like a thing between the triangle
Right.
between the
And I
handsomes.
don't think it was
It
really
wasn't that.
that serious. I think it was like, because you could tell that in that moment of them on the streets, you didn't see them really arguing. I don't think it was really that serious, basically.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
So that was the side note. We jump back at the apartment. They're getting ready to go to the ball. Hazel is walking back and forth, and then they got into it. Now you can pick it up.
Okay, so the way that situation happened was, I think Hayes was more so angry in relation to Calvin mentioning that about the cousin, if I'm not mistaken. And
Yeah.
basically he tried to direct that energy back, because a lot of the time, a lot of the thing is like,
Wait, hold on. Now Hazel was claiming that Witchcom was his cousin too, Steven.
that's what
So
I
he
said
said
too.
Steven and Leo. That's who he was
Yes,
claiming.
both of them.
Okay.
Remember, even later down when Justin and Leela were talking, he was like, "Oh yeah, because y'all had my cousin by himself, so I really wanted to fight him." Yeah, it was that.
So he was okay. I
They were
got it.
claiming cousins
So
for
he
each
claiming
other.
everybody.
Yes,
Okay, got it.
yes,
Noted.
girl.
Thank you.
That's what I was trying to say. That's what I was saying earlier, that they were claiming each other and everything. So it was that
Okay.
wig,
So go ahead, girl.
wig. But yeah, it was basically Calvin got into a fight with Hayes because Hayes was angry about that comment that Calvin made, because he directed. Okay, so we may have skipped over this part. I don't know if we did or not, but Calvin had a discussion with the entire group about the orgy moment, and also
Yeah, we had that
just
conversation. We had
making
a
sure
whole
you guys
segment
know.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
just
did.
in case. Calvin basically had a discussion with everybody about what Lilo did, and Lilo was like, "I never did that. Don't try to place that on me. I'm a freak. If I wanted to do something like that, I would still do it because I love. I'm a freak. I'll touch who I want to touch and stuff like that. Like that." but they were trying to address it and fix it. But it was like it was not good. It did not turn out how they wanted it to turn out, basically. So
Yes.
basically, Hayes decided, you know what, we're just gonna fight. So they started basically ripping each other's pictures. They started doing this. Kalvin took the picture and peed on it and was flushing it down the toilet and all that. And then they just started to fight. It
No.
was something else happened.
Hayes ran. Hayes ran to hit him.
Yeah,
Mind you, this group ran to attack.
yeah, you
Which
did say
called he was
that.
coming out
That's
the
true.
bathroom. They like to do that,
Yeah, that's true.
and that's what happened. Calvin
Yeah.
won.
So that happened. Kalvin won that definitely. It wasn't no contest. It was no contest.
Exactly.
Hayes only the
Calvin
only
won.
thing Hayes had was that his hits were more so like I'm going to continuously hit you a lot, and they don't have to be really necessarily strong. It was just more so about the speed of the hits. That was what he was doing.
Mm,
Calvin was like I'm going to hit you and hurt you, and
yes.
you could tell because at the end of that fight you saw like scars and marks on Hayes. You didn't see any of that on Kalvin. And basically after that,
Mm,
Hayes was like, oh, I have asthma. I'm going to sit down. And he decided, even though he says he won, to call his cousin, Steven. So Steven was like, oh, I'm getting off of my job. Mind you, he's getting off of work, you guys. Not a cast member. And coming home from work. You come to this thing to fight. So he comes in, and also he does have a problem still with Kalvin because of that whole coke comment. Let's just be honest. That was the main
they
reason.
already fought for that.
That was one of the main
First
reasons.
off, if I'm not mistaken, it was like almost 2 to 3 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken, from the timeline. So it's like, you still mad about that girl? So okay.
Right, exactly. So they decide they fight, and they fight in the living room. And again, it's like how you said earlier, where he tries to run up on Kalvin, and because Calvin's face is standing in front of the wall, it basically led for an opportunity for Kalvin to just kind of push her head into the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And when he did it, he essentially hit Steven's head into a mirror. They had a little mirror basically on the wall. And so basically they fought. Calvin won that fight as well because he got his face. You could see it. You saw like his face was really red, but you could also see like marks on his
Yes.
face. So
I do want to put out this.
no, go
Just
ahead, go ahead.
sorry to cut you. A side note. That was a very dangerous thing because that window was
It
there,
was.
and he could have actually pushed that boy
Let's
out that
also
window,
talk about
and it would
how
have
the
been.
TV. You could see the TV was messed up already.
Yeah, but the funny is they showed the preview of them messing up the television, and we never saw them messing it up. Did we? I don't know. There was so much shit going on in that house, girl. Look, there was just which called. He lost the fight.
Basically,
That was it. And then after he lost the fight, which he claimed he won, him and Hayes, two
continued.
people that said they won
Yes,
the fight,
continued. Go ahead. What were they doing?
saying they won the fight, but they're yelling. And they're like, yeah, you can't even fight yet, but if you want to fight, why? If he couldn't fight, why are you yelling about he couldn't? What the fuck is
Right.
this? This shit is hilarious. Hold on. So they was yelling. And then Calvin was just bitching like, girl, I ain't
Right.
got time for this. Because it's like, what am I arguing with? I think when you don't have that much energy on the person, because like when you really don't have that much beef with a person, like you don't have that
Which he
much
didn't.
energy
He didn't really
together.
have an issue with them. It's like y'all had an issue with him. It was on y'all
Exactly. And I guess Calvin was sitting there just stuck,
and
like, what the
quiet,
fuck
and
is
they're
going
like,
on?
"Oh, we
What am
got
I
you on
doing?
hush mouth." No, it's like, girl, why am I sitting here wasting my time and energy arguing when I won? Allegedly, y'all won, but excuse me,
Y'all
yes,
barking.
loudly.
dogs barking. Ruff, ruff. That's all they was doing. I'm like, okay. And this is when we came into conclusion that Justin and A should have been like, let's just move this along. Because I'm like, y'all arguing about nothing. Let's just move on. It's over with. Y'all fought. Why y'all still
and it's like,
why
you're
y'all
done.
in the
We're
kitchen?
done. It's
Yeah.
already done. And I respect Kalvin for being like, after his fight with Hayes, he was like, I could just fight you right now while you have asthma. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait till you get better.
Yeah. And he could have did that, but you know what? Them girls wouldn't offer
At
him the
all.
same respect.
They would have attacked
At
him if he
all.
was like, even if he was like taking a bath, they would have attacked him then.
Mm-hmm.
Especially Lilo.
Girl,
Well,
hello. That would have been probably another kind of case. Then it would have been a assault case, but it would have probably been a different kind.
Let's talk about it. Let's say it.
Been an S
Say it.
front.
Speak it.
It'd have been an
Say
S
it. Speak
word in front of
Say
that.
it. Speak it.
So they're doing all that jazz, still yelling, and I mean yelling. The circus come in, lady with the beard, Rocky. He comes in, and again he joins in for as
Them
laughing at Kalvin.
And he said the statement. He was sitting there looking like a little lost, sad puppy dog. So I wanted to feel bad, but I don't feel bad for him. Oh, okay.
All right. So he just doing all that and everything, and it's just becomes to the point that it's like, okay, now the whole house again, y'all making it a Kalvin show.
Exactly.
That's what it is. Because last time I checked, once I whoop a bitch, nobody need to come in behind me. I already whooped the bitch. She done. So clearly the girl was still handling the girls. So then the other girls start coming in. One bitch came from the dentist's office. The other bitch just came to lose that ball. They about to go. Sorry.
Well.
Oops. So they get there, and then out of nowhere, Lilo says he wants to fight.
Also, can I side note this really quickly? Lilo mentions during the fight that he can't fight who he really wanted to fight, so he's just going to direct his energy at Kalvin. I just want to say that. And he also mentions that he was going to fight him the next day. Okay, go ahead.
And I was really confused about that because I was like, wait a minute now. Like, this ain't making no sense. Like, who you want to fight? Because I didn't even, I remember him saying that, but I guess it was so much commotion going on that when he made that comment, it flew over my head a little bit low key. It's like I heard it, but I wasn't paying attention to it. I'm like, girl, I know y'all not about to fight this boy. I think that was more howling at the screen because I'm like, this boy just had a fight, like already, like 2 fights already by 2 different people. So they all in the living room, and then of course Turnell with no personality keeps saying, well, let him get it in, let him go and fight, why you let him get his fade in. And I'm like, these Boston girls, I am so sorry. They are not making you guys look good because I think this is the most ridiculous thing. I never seen a group of, I think this be the problem in the gay community. They are. Like, it's like nobody has their mind on their own. It's like, what are y'all arguing over? Now, Lilo had more of the reason. He literally had 2 fights before Lilo got there because of that situation. Right? So, what are y'all talking about? Like, y'all keep on acting like y'all fighting him for different situations. No, you're not.
Right.
No, you're not. No, you're
exactly
not.
That.
Stop it. And that's when it feels like a jumping situation at the end of the day. So they're like, now mind you, this bitch just got her wisdom tooth pulled, and mind you, she's on medication because they medicate you or whatever case be when And he got these big cotton balls on the wisdom tooth, and he like, I want to fight, I want to get her. I didn't like that shit or whatever the case may be. So whatever. So this is when Justin and Ace try to step in and say, let's just stop. Don't leave the boy alone. The boy already had 2 fights or whatever the case. Long story short, he breaks through and then he gets handled. Because motherfucking Kalvin started uppercutting this bitch. Because this bitch want to throw her weight on Kalvin. And Kalvin is a real fighter. Because, you got to be prepared for every side.
That's true.
And baby, he was upcutting this bitch like she... handling that
And
though.
let's also say this. I want to say this. I don't think really she necessarily wanted to fight. I think she allowed somebody to influence her to want to fight. And that is the problem right there.
Absolutely.
You never fight.
Well, she ain't got a mind on all. I told
Yeah,
you they
because
all
they
share
did
brain.
mention,
It's all
she
a
did mention
brain.
it wasn't because of, it was because of the comment, but it's like, if you were mad about it, you should have addressed it then. You know?
Well, later on she said she was going to do it
Yeah, she
another
did say
day,
that.
if I'm not mistaken. Well, won't you follow your first mind?
Exactly.
And it's like, just over it. So they have
Uh
that
huh.
fight, how you doing? This bitch bleeding, or whatever the case may be, and they, like I said, they eventually separated the whole situation. So come the next day, or probably a week later, I don't know. They eventually want to have the
Right.
conversation. Well, that's when Witch Caller was saying Hazel was trying to end the situation. He was like, "Okay," I'm like, "Yeah, you don't think y'all did enough?" Which now he realized, okay, well, let's just leave him alone, or whatever the case. And I'm like, I think we could have
Right.
been done that. I think that should have been done.
Right.
Okay, they go to the ball. The girls wasn't serving. And the reason why she didn't win because she got them shoes from Rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. And she lost. And she was upset about losing, even though she wasn't really good. Just saying, girl. She come find me because I don't like these bitches. These bitches are angry.
Mm-hmm.
So she lost the ball, and then after all that jazz, they come from the ball situation. Then they goes into the next scene where again they wanted to have the
Right.
conversation with Justin,
Mm-hmm.
Lila, about him touching him and
Right.
stuff like that. What should do? And you can explain that conversation, girl. Because my
Let's
head
just
already
say
hurt.
that it made no sense whatsoever. It was like Lilo basically saying, "Oh, well, you can't do that, but you yourself are doing that. Oh, I didn't like this, but you
Mm-hmm.
yourself did that same thing to somebody else." And it was a really unfortunate conversation because there was never going to be any kind of clarity or improvement because the writing was terrible. Let's just call it what it is. The girls are terrible at this. The girls are terrible at at not writing. I meant to say the girls are terrible at really explaining themselves and trying to set a situation up. And that's a problem that it's like if you can't explain yourself in a clear way, it's like, girl, it makes no sense. Why are we mad at this person if you're not making sense? So it was
Mm-hmm.
a lot of her not making sense. It was a lot of her basically telling Justin, "Oh, well, I mean, you saying that you are." It's Justin basically was like, perfect example. Justin saying, "I held you back. I held such and such back because it makes no sense to jump this person, but you got mad at me for doing that same thing for." You got mad at me for holding that person back, but you did the same exact thing in another situation. Yeah, because that's my friend. I did that for that reason. Yeah, but I'm doing that because I'm closer to this person. So it doesn't make sense to be mad at the person for doing what you did. It doesn't make sense. And the fight did not make sense. And
Exactly.
he really was right. He was correct when he was saying that it makes no sense to address the situation a week later if you're not going to address it then when you have him, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he said, "Oh, I was gonna fight. I wasn't gonna even fight him that day." That's when he was making the excuse of that the fight wasn't really supposed to happen, with which it did. But okay, that he was supposed to be fighting him the next day, and that's where he had it planned out, or whatever the case
Mm-hmm.
may be. And then he said, "Well, I came because." I heard that y'all fought, which come y'all know one
Right.
person fought him, Calvin fought him, which was correct if I'm not mistaken, and he hit him with
Right.
a crowbar. I don't know how we got a picture frame from a crowbar, but you know what? Maybe they don't know well on their objects because they barely can speak. Uh,
Yeah.
oh God, that was
It was
so
but
crazy. And he was like, he was there alone, and I'm like, he wasn't there alone because
yeah.
Steven came
And
there,
even
if
let's
I'm
say
not
this,
mistaken. So
even if he was
it's like
alone,
everything
even
he's
if he
saying
was
is
alone, they were not going to jump your friend, your cousin. That was not going to happen.
exactly, absolutely not. So it's like you are still like, it's like, girl, just say
Right.
he was wrong. Just move on. And it's like, girl, and I think that's the point with these girls. They don't have accountability for each, like, they just don't have it.
So
And
yeah,
it's
agreed.
all the deflecting. That's what it
It
is.
was a lot of deflecting. It was very. I think also what made it worse is just like the fact that they, like, it's like in that conversation between Lilo and Justin. Also, again, I want to say this. I want to reiterate this. Lilo in that conversation earlier didn't want to accept what he did was wrong. In the
Yeah.
conversation that when Calvin brought it up to the group,
Mm-hmm.
because Lilo kept going, "Oh, I'm a this. I do you. I think you heard me. I think you were present. I think you saw everything." And it's like, no, 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 no. You have to know. You can't think and assume just because
Yeah.
you're interested in that person. That doesn't, you know. And I think that's the point. It's like a lot of people go, "Oh, I'm interested." Boom. It's okay if I do what I want to do. No, no, no. That's not how that works.
Yeah. It isn't. And again, it's always something at round when he's drunk. And I think he need to
Yes.
really check
I think
into
you
that,
mentioned
because it's
that.
like,
You mentioned
you
that a couple
rather
times when we watched the show.
you would rather have a drinking problem versus
The
a
other
sexual problem.
thing, the other thing,
I don't.
yes.
I think maybe you need to check in on that, and you should know if you had
Hmm.
done something to someone or whatever case it be. And if you apologize, just apologize. And I feel like again, all over the place, and it just really, like, I think the one something is just really off with him.
Yes.
And
I
I
think it's
feel,
the thing. I think it's this, but I also think it's like it's a a certain kind of Gen Zer that he gives, and it's a
mhm,
that certain type. And this is not a read to all Gen Zers. Y'all are not terrible people. Y'all have given us a lot of great things, honestly. But he's a certain kind of Gen Zer that doesn't want to be accountable for their own actions and would rather blame society and
uh-huh,
other things instead of, no, you were actually wrong in what you
yeah,
did, you know.
absolutely.
And also there's a certain brand of millennial that is like this, and anything every other generation after and after and every generation before and all of that. So it's like, I'm not just saying
But
Gen
it's
Zers are
more the
like that.
lower millennials, by the way. I don't know if it's the
Yeah,
lower
yeah,
ones or
yes.
whatever that was able to get away with some stuff.
Well, it's the older millennials too.
It is, but I think we get more from lower,
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
the
Oh,
lower
don't worry. I got
ones.
what you were saying, but I'm just saying it's that. So I think the thing is, it's like it's a certain way he speaks that you can tell he's on like TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. Like it's a certain way he speaks. I don't know if you noticed that,
Oh
but it's like
yeah,
I noticed that it's a certain way he speaks that he's that kind of person.
and they all mostly talk the same on TikTok, by the way, because it's like
Yes,
they take out, they skip, and all that, and I think it's now become a certain way of speaking now,
it
and it
has.
gives that. And maybe that's why he keep pausing. I don't know, but I think he probably need to come on out of that, because this is a very real situation. And I think if you are a bad boy, I think you should be able to know how to speak and voice what you're upset about and keep it there. Make it solid versus being all over the place and stuff like that. And we won't, I would want to say he's uneducated. We're not going to say that.
No, it's
Because
not
even
that.
I have a speech problem at some point, but I'm not going to get to the
Mm.
point of what I'm saying too. Now, don't get it
I think
twisted.
it's more so just okay. I think what it is a lot of people mimic the language and the way, the dialect and the way of speaking based on their generation. Like a lot of Gen Zers talk similar. Do they all talk alike? No. But they all have a similar level of speech pattern of this, of that, that I've noticed. We all noticed it. We've all seen it. We all
Well,
noticed
every
it.
generation, because I think, like my ex, I
No, that's
told
what I'm
you, he
saying.
he used to be want to be young, and it's like it comes out of how you speak. or
Mm-hmm.
whatever case may be. It's like you can tell the person a little bit older, or whatever case may be. So it's
Yeah,
all in
that's
the
what I'm
voice. It's like,
saying. That's
yeah.
what I'm saying. It's like it's a certain every generation we have that where it's like, oh, we all speak a certain way, we all speak a certain level, and we all have a certain language situation of how we talk. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like how me and you talk, millennial.
Mm-hmm.
Gen
Because Gen
Zers
Z
have a
talk,
certain.
they talk very fast.
They do.
You're like,
And
oh
a lot of
really?
the times, I don't know if you noticed, like, especially him, it's like they drag their words, but not like drag, but it's like you can hear them dragging their words a little bit. So it's like, and again, this is not me dragging Gen Zers. It's a lot of good Gen
We're
Zers
just
out
showing
there.
the difference, and it's
Yeah,
not negative. It's just the difference of how we can figure it out,
I'll do
or
this.
whatever case may be.
Yes,
So
exactly.
that's what it, and it's giving that. It's giving that for
It is.
him,
It is.
and he's just one of those Gen Zers that's not taking accountability, and I feel like he has
Yes.
some, and not, and I really want to bring this back. Hold on, because they got some other ones, and if I'm not mistaken, Hayes, I think he's on a cusp on millennials and Gen Zers, but we're trying to say the lower millennials. They don't take
I can
accountability
see
because
that.
all of them are in that group circle that aren't taking any accountability.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
And I feel
absolutely.
like, if I'm not mistaken, I think Witchcom is probably in his 30s, or like Case. I'm quite sure he's like close to his 30s and stuff like that. So clearly he got the
I
good.
honestly, I could see, excuse me, I could see him being in his 30s better than I could see him being a millennial. And that's not to say he looks
We in
old.
our 30s.
I know I'm saying I could honestly see, not millennial. I mean, I could honestly see him being in his 30s quicker than I could see him being a Gen Zer,
Oh,
to
he's
be
not
honest
Gen
with you.
Zer. He's not Gen Zer at all. I was never gonna give him that. I'm just saying, like,
Oh,
probably like
wait.
29, 30. I'm giving that point, and I think that was the point he was expressing. Like, this ain't making no sense what you're saying,
Which it
and
wasn't. It really was not. I'm going to be honest with you. It really was not making sense. It was like
it's
I'm listening
giving
and I'm like, what?
it's giving young person, they can do whatever they want and all that, and it's like no one
Mm-hmm.
can tell them nothing and stuff like that, and it's just like, okay, that is what it's giving, and that's really showing the full immature, because right now with this situation, it's serious. And I feel
Yes.
like when it comes to sexual things, you need to take that serious regardless of what age frame you're at. You need to take this
Exactly.
serious. And this ain't take it serious, and so we could just, not look at you in that light. Just saying that, okay, it was a situation where you just misunderstood or misread, or
Yes.
whatever case. And that could have been a good point, because like when you drink and all of y'all cuddling up, I mean, all y'all been flirting with each other, and I'm not saying that's an excuse, but it was more of a dialogue that, you know that
Mm-hmm.
y'all might touch each other and be a little too familiar with each other in certain ways, and you can apologize that you just went a little too far, and that's all at the end of the day. And it's like you didn't, you know
Yeah.
full on, like, assaulted a person, like really, like, physically, well, he assaulted a person, but you know what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I got you.
It wasn't no penetration, or really just aggressive, like jumping on a person. It's just like you were touching someone in an inappropriate way, and we take
Inappropriately.
that very seriously as well. But sometimes that can be under. We can take that into, okay, like I said, maybe you misread, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever case may be, versus the
Well,
person going
let's
far off the deep
let's
end.
let's say this. We can't be for sure in the whole thing, but I will say this.
Oh, I said
You
maybe. Now hold on. I said maybe. Now hold on. Because
okay?
I wasn't
I just
there.
want you to clarify that,
I
girl. Because
wasn't.
hold
I
on, clear
wasn't
it up, clear
there.
it up, clear it
I
up, clear
said
it up,
maybe.
clear it up, clear it
I
up.
wasn't.
We can,
I
we
said
can,
maybe.
we can. What is it? Ashley said, "You can shut this kangaroo restaurant down today."
Mm-hmm.
No, but it's just, yeah. I think you shouldn't have did it in the first one. You shouldn't have did it. Two,
Yes,
once you said, "I thought," that is the point that you have to
absolutely.
realize. If you're thinking you think it is, and you don't know for sure,
Mm-hmm.
stop it right then and there.
A misunderstanding, and what, like I said, when it comes to sexual assault, and when it comes to that umbrella, under that umbrella, we're very sensitive to all of it. And I think a lot of times we don't like to put, okay, this person was like, a full fledged sexual assault, and we're not levering that over a person that was touched in a certain way or intimidated in a sexual way. And it's all in the same umbrella. We want to take it all 100% serious.
Yes.
At the end of the day. And I think that's just where we're at now. We're not playing with any of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we, don't do it. Apologize. And just go from there. And I just don't think he had the right people on his side to, because they just wanted to fight instead of just taking the situation. And I feel like Lito really did want to take it serious. But I feel like he did apologize in some sense, even though he didn't want to take full accountability. But I think them guys they were trying to make you look like a certain kind of way. And I think it was a better way they could have handled that. Or
it really was. It could have been a better way.
I don't want to feel like, I don't want to be perceived that way. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Wrong people. Like, you got the wrong people in your circle, honey. Because I would have told you, look, right now, hold on. Go out there and try, because you're gonna make yourself look like that person or whatever. If a person out of nowhere says, okay, well, I feel like you touched me in a certain way, which you say you like to touch people, you're a freak, and then if they tell you, hey, I don't like that, that's kind of giving me a vibe of predator or whatever, oh, you want to fight them, that you become that. That's when you're that. So you fighting Kalvin for it is making you look like something that you're claiming you're not.
Agreed.
So you defeated your purpose of what you want to do.
Yes.
And not make you look like that. Especially when it happened a week ago. If it happened a week ago, just let me just let this slide. Let me just move on and let me let this slide. Or get clarity. You should have got more clarity about it.
Agreed.
Yes,
but
anything you want to add? Go on.
Yes, okay, so let's talk about, did we really get a chance to talk about the Kalvin fights? We talked about Lilo fighting him.
We talked about all the fights because, yes, we talked about every last fight.
Yeah, we did.
We've been talking a lot, you guys. It's just because, like I said, we going down the timeline. But, yeah, we did talk about that. And if I'm not mistaken, that was close to the end of the episode. That was
it was, I think so. And honestly, at that point, it was kind of like they couldn't do anything else. It's like after the fights, after they had Kalvin fight 3 times, it was like, I think Kalvin was ready to go home. And honestly, if I was him, I would be ready to go home too, because it's like, after doing all this, I'm tired. And then it's like, think about the fact that he probably would have been dealing with them trying to fight him every day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, y'all are, we don't jump. We're not jumping. We don't do that. It's like, no, y'all say y'all don't, but y'all do jump.
Yeah.
Because what do you think this was? This is y'all jumping him.
That was it.
Mm-hmm.
And some of y'all wasn't even supposed to be there. Y'all literally participated.
Steven, with some of us, no. We're talking about you, Steven.
Oh, yeah.
What was the point of you coming back? Why did you even come back?
Oh, girl.
This season did not do you any kind of favors whatsoever.
At all.
You looked like a fool. You looked, oh, girl, this is not good for you. Oh, it was terrible. Terrible for you, girl.
Mm-hmm. Just a full-on miss. You done wasted your time because you didn't win.
Yeah. And we did the after show. If you want to get into that really quickly.
Yes.
Once you're done with what you were saying, I'm sorry.
No, we can go on to that. So we get to the after show, and I was in the comments as well.
Yes, she was. I saw her comments, girl. And okay, so we haven't watched any previous after shows. This is the first one we've watched.
Yeah, because of how intense that episode was about the 3 fights. Because mind you, they peeled, if I'm not mistaken, they peeled this shit off into like 3 episodes. If you think about it, because they advertised it on okay, so with this episode 10, that was episode 10. So they advertised it on episode 7 or 8. I mean 6. Either one. So if I'm not mistaken, the fight started around the 7th.
I want to say
yes, it was, because it was like
it
was advertised around the 7th. The fight happened on the 8th officially, if I'm not mistaken, and then the 9th
No,
That's it.
remember episode 6 he had another fight. He had the first fight with Steven. So it
Okay,
was like episode 7, 8, and 9. Yeah.
yeah, so and 10, so it's like spilled all over. Because what he does, what Quran does, if you see the way he edit things, it's always, and which a lot of people edit. Let me not even.
Oh, you know what? Okay, episode 7 was more so when they had that discussion about
The thing,
the
okay, yeah,
and then
okay,
episode 8, it started on episode 8, then went to episode 9 and stopped in episode 10.
there you go.
So, yes,
It was
those
three
3,
episodes.
yes.
Yeah, three episodes.
Yes. So you
Three
were
episodes.
right still. You were still right. You weren't all far off.
Yeah. So, so that's why we decided to watch the review on that, because then it was confirmed this boy had 3 fights in one day,
Yes.
and it did
And we
not look
wanted I
good.
wanted to see what the girls were saying because a lot of people usually when we watch I don't know about you, but whenever I watch some of these reality shows on here especially, I will go through the comments, especially like G status, especially when it's like,
Well, G
oh
status was
yeah,
up this weekend.
and they love. Oh, I saw that too, and they love being like, oh team Akeem, and I'm like, Akeem,
Girl,
y'all really sure about that?
I'm like, oh yeah, I must have had him on mute when he was on screen. Okay, that's why y'all like him.
It
Okay.
had to be, cause what
Mm-hmm.
Akeem? Oh girl, let's not do this lying. Oh no, oh no. But yeah, so anyways, skipping. In the after show, we didn't watch all of it, by the way. We kind of skipped ahead a little bit, and it was like 10 minutes in. You said 10 minutes in, right?
Yeah.
There was this lady who joined in that was like, "Oh, I hate Kalvin," and was trying to drag Kalvin. It was some of the points was funny. Some of her comments was funny.
It
Some,
was. It was.
yeah, but it was like as soon as she said, "Yeah, I'm who," and they asked her who she likes, and she was like, "Oh, I'm best friends with Rocky." That was enough.
That's
That
all
let me
he
know right
needed.
there. That's it. That's it. That's all,
Like,
girl.
shut the fuck up. But he was getting in on her
He
ass.
was. He was. He was giving her fever. Well, they said that she did this previously in the previous after show, so that's why he was ready for her.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why he was definitely ready for her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he said it. Yeah, yeah, he did. He said that. Okay, cool. And then, yeah, that was going back and forth. That was good and all that. And, Calvin stood strong. We was all in the comments, and the comments was always standing Calvin. Calvin got 95% of the love. And
He
I'm being
did,
generous.
and he deserved it.
I'm being generous of chopping off 4 points, because it's really 99. Everybody felt like Calvin won at the end of the day. It was just unanimous that, he won.
Agreed.
And then Lilo bitch ass finally come on.
Oh wow.
Well, he is.
I see.
No. Well, girl, look. After all that, I think the point is the pettiness of it all. You got off from the dentist table chair to go fight this boy after you already know he had a fight already.
And you said, "Oh, I wanted to fight him the next day," but then you fight him that day. It didn't make sense.
It's like they be trying. I think the point, these kids, and that's what they're acting like, children. These
Mm-hmm.
kids are so delusional. They will say the weirdest things to make themselves feel right. Like he was like, "Oh yeah, y'all would think I'm wrong for letting him fight him because he already had 2 fights. But technically, he been wanting to fight him still before that." And I'm like,
Yeah, he
"Oh,
said that. He was like, "Oh, he Ben was trying to fight him." Okay, so if you Ben had an issue, why didn't you have that hash the issue out? If you
and
Ben wanted to fight him, why you didn't hash the issue out when you wanted to fight him? It doesn't.
it's
It don't make sense, y'all. Not y'all. Again, we again are going back to y'all. Don't make sense.
exactly. Y'all got all this heat for Calvin, and Calvin ain't really been doing nothing." And I think that was the point about Calvin just relaxing, because Calvin just still cool about this.
Now, let me
I just
ask you this: in the after show, was it Kalvin that brought up who he said who he originally wanted to fight, or was it randomly brought up? Because I wasn't clear on that part.
Calvin brought it up.
Okay,
Right.
and Lilo was the one who said, "This is who I meant," right? Because I remember that he did say, "This is who I meant." He said that he meant to try. He wanted to fight Case.
He confirmed it.
Okay,
He confirmed.
Calvin
Calvin
was
brought
one
it
who
up.
said. Calvin was
Cal-
one who dropped the name.
he was about to leave out of the chat, and he said,
Mm.
"Hey, I just got one more question. Are you going to give the same smoke towards Casey because that's the person that you really want to fight?" And then that's when he was like, "Well, why would you bring his name? Why would you say his name when we don't have issues?" He said, "Well, y'all don't even like each other.
All right.
Y'all beef with each other. So I don't see why it's like a secret that you have an issue with him." "Well, we don't have an issue, but I'm ready for anything." And he said, "But you told me you had an issue with him." "Yeah, I did." So he was all over the place when he brought that up. Whatever. So mind you, like I say, even throughout the point before we got to the we're gonna get back to this. They had a conversation about why he fought this boy, knowing he came from the dentist or whatever the case may be. And he just said he didn't want to fight. He was saying that he got a phone call that this boy was being attacked. His cousin fought Kalvin, and the way it sounded like he was, I'm like, if my friend fought somebody and he said he won, why I'm coming there? Especially if I got
Let's talk about it.
Look, Ron,
And here's the thing. Here's the thing.
If you won, you don't need to call. You don't need to call. Well, I don't feel like you need assistance from me.
Here's why he did that. If he said, "Oh, I won," his mind. You want to know what his mind was thinking? "Oh, I can easily beat this boy because if he can beat him, I can easily beat him too." That's where his mind was at.
Yeah.
That's what he was thinking. And that's what I think it was. So, yeah, it was that. Do I feel like it was right? And do I feel like it makes sense? No, absolutely not. But that's what it was. I got you. I got your numbers now. I got y'all's number. I know what it is.
Mind you guys, we're paraphrasing because this boy was all over with the conversation.
He really was. He is. Y'all think we're exaggerating? We are not exaggerating. They were really, truly all over with their thoughts and their opinions and their commentary. It was like a lot of it didn't make sense.
And exactly. And even the two girls that was on the panel, even the one that don't like him, I'm like, girl, wait, what are you saying? Because
she said she didn't like Lilo as well already. As soon as he came in, she said she wasn't really a fan of his.
Oh, okay.
So she was like, "Oh, I want clarity on a lot of things because you do not make sense. When you be talking, you don't be making sense
at all." And it's just so hilarious. And I'm like, okay, cause let me tell you something. It is always good to get an amen. Like we of course we assure ourselves. We'd be like, okay, I know that this person ain't making no sense, but when you get an amen, you get an amen. And I'm like, that was my amen because it's like, girl, you are all over the place with the conversation.
And another one said, "And where's the destination? You don't be getting to a destination."
Yeah, what's the destination? And then even on top of that, he jumped in to the point of saying, "Oh, well, it's what do you say? Well, people say they don't know, they can't understand me or whatever. Because it's just how I talk." But I think he was more focused on saying about his accent. It's like, girl, it's not the accent. Because
yeah, like, nobody's right.
Strong. Don't get it twisted. That's just strong as fuck. But let me tell you something. On YouTube, they have subtitles, and second of all, we can probably read through those your accent.
Even some people with like heavy accents, we can still get. Like it'll be people who we can still catch the context. You don't be making sense. That's the point we're making.
Exactly, and even the people that is talking to you that. If I'm not mistaken, I think Northerns can really understand each other more. If I'm not mistaken,
quicker, yeah.
I'm just saying, because I can understand a lot of the Southern people more than I can understand a lot of Northern people.
Mm-hmm.
But I really want to put that out there because they have kind of the same kind of twang and the way they say things and stuff like that. So if they kept asking you that this is like they confirmed they heard you, but you're not making sense.
Exactly.
Or whatever the case may be. And it was never to the point they couldn't understand your accent when you was talking to these people and trying to hash things out. It was just like, it just doesn't make sense. Not that we don't hear you. It doesn't make sense what you're saying.
And I think I do remember somebody saying that this is the first time he's done one. So they were like, well, why does he never do anything? Because we just want to clarify what he's saying.
Yeah.
I do remember reading that in the comments, and it's like, yeah, he don't be making sense. None of his group made sense anyways, to be honest with you. Like, none of them.
They add the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They add the same thing. Like you said about the picture. They'll be going back and forth. Oh, I don't really care about the picture, but I fought him because of the picture, because he threw my picture, but I'm not really upset about the picture. It just really angered me that he did that to my picture, but I'm not worried about the picture. It's like, girl, wait, do you care about the picture or you don't care about the picture? I'm trying to find out why you're upset. And I'm more upset about him taking my picture. But I'm not upset about it. But I don't have no beef.
Exactly.
But I'm not mad at him. But that made me upset that he took the picture. I'm like, look, bitch, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be all these things and thinking that's going to make sense. Because it's like, okay, you know, people do suffer from different personalities.
Mm-hmm.
Or you have this different personality moment. But the point is, listen to all of them.
I want to say this.
This is how y'all are.
I want to say this. I think what they're trying to do is that Bad Girls Club thing where it's like, oh, I don't care if they throw my picture away, and it's like, but then you fight them because of the picture, and it's like, it's inconsistent. I think that's what they're aiming for, but the problem is we're now in a space where it's like, does that make sense? No. Did it make sense back then? No. Did we care that it made sense back then? No.
No.
Now we do.
Yeah. And my point, okay, like in New Orleans, I've told this story before on the podcast, but I must say it again because it correlates. Like I said, I was with my classmate. We was back and forth, ribbing each other in New Orleans. That's what we call when we joking on each other or capping. Say in Houston. And like I said, the guy was talking, and me and him going back and forth. And a lot of times in New Orleans, when a person does want to fight because they're losing the battle, and you know, when you don't really want to fight all the time, you're like, I just want to have fun because I'm just reading your ass. When you got a good read on a girl, so they'll say your mama, and I'm like, come on, man, why you gotta say all that? Because then you know I'm gonna have to fight you, because it's like, it's all about the principle. Right. That's the point. And again, and I wasn't getting upset because I'm like, you don't know my mom like that anyway. But then he said my grandma, and I'm like, you don't know her either, but now I gotta whoop your ass, and I beat the fuck out of him. It's just the principle. And if you will make it just about that, then you can have, okay, it's just a principle. I really don't care about it, but it's the principle. He touched my shit.
See, and that's just the point. It's like, I had said that. I'd be like, cool, I got it. Do I agree? Not necessarily, but I get it.
Yeah, that's it. And I think they don't know how to put that into words or really. And I think I don't like people like that. I don't like them because it's like they're angry. When I say these guys are angry, they are angry. They have some built up anger. Like they can't articulate their emotions or like their values. It just don't feel like they can articulate that, because it's like they be in some sense second guessing their morals and their values, because it's like one minute they're saying they're not upset about something, then they are like, and I would do that, but then they'll do it, and it's like, girl, wait, hold on, wait a minute, and it's like they're flip floppers. And, you know, and that's why the other people in the house that they're going against reign supreme. You have made it a show about them at the end of the day. And y'all fought with this boy about the silliest reasons. And y'all made him the star. And all y'all segments is going to be about him. He is the star. So that's why he gets the chair next to Karan. Even though I don't think he should be hosting, because he is biased, and it's just something about Karan. I'm so sorry. I just really don't trust him.
Okay. I'll say this. Karan's okay. It's just I don't like certain things, and I especially also did not like when he made that statement. And this is what I wanted to say earlier, but because, you know, we decided to do part 2 and all that, we didn't get a chance to say it. I didn't particularly live for him saying, "Well, we had a person fight three people last time, so what's different about that to now?" And it's like, yeah, that was last time.
Yeah.
Now it's different because it's like we're sitting here like watching this man get jumped for what? And it's like, are they jumping him? Not technically, but they are technically
They
still jumping
are.
him.
No, they are. That
Yeah.
is considered of jumping the person because it's like y'all sent different people in there to fight him so y'all can win. Because I
Exactly.
kept losing. That's jumping the person. That's what it is. Because y'all couldn't beat him. Y'all just didn't want to like physically do it all at once or whatever the case may be because it would have made y'all look bad on camera. But I'm quite sure if the cameras wasn't rolling, y'all would have jumped him because it's
Right.
like my nature. What y'all did right there, that's just what it is at the end of the day.
Exactly. Let's
It,
talk
it
about
makes
it.
no sense. It's like y'all had a mutual combat. That was it. And each of y'all ran up on the boy and lost.
And
And y'all
lost.
still upset. You know,
Uh-huh.
I can't. And and like I said, he made that comment, like you said, and he was like, "Fuck anybody," because he said, "Y'all trying to make me feel bad." I've never known of a person trying to give constructive criticism to bring something to the light is something that you need to feel bad for. You can do better. You can acknowledge your mistake or whatever the case may be.
And
And
that's
I
it.
think like, okay, like not always a mistake that you need to feel bad about all the time. It can be something that you just learn from. Like, you know what? I don't like the way that it looks. Let me fix that. Let me listen to my viewers. Maybe because I feel like you should feel bad because I'm like the boy was physically attacked. So yeah, in some sense, yeah, you should feel bad. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
you should. And I don't want to hear about nothing that happened on the first season. It's a lot of stuff that I'm quite sure you're not bringing back them dingy cameras you had back in the day. You did
Oh
better, right?
no.
And got some new ones, right? So let's do better on the content. Let's make sure that this boy wasn't attacked like that because it really felt like if they wanted to jump that boy, you would allow that to happen.
Right.
You
And
only
it's
cared
content.
about
We
the
get it. It's
furniture in the
content.
house versus
We
caring about
get
him.
it. That's content. We get it. But it's like, no, it shouldn't be that way. Right. But that was the show, you guys.
And that was the after show as well.
Is there anything you wanted to add? Oh, since we're on this point, let's go ahead and say who we live for on the show and who we want to see come back.
Oh, well, I know Calvin is number one, top tier. I mean, come on.
He really did
Oh,
he
wait,
really
I'm
did
sorry.
change the show. He really did change the show.
When I
As a
say Rocky,
Pisces.
I was talking about the fighter for the movies. That's why I was calling him Calvin.
Oh, girl.
Not Rocky with the lady in the beard. Um, yeah, I feel like Calvin definitely is top tier. I do want to see Case come back. Justin, I like Justin. I don't think Justin should come back. Because Justin's really chill. And like I said, in New York, he used to be yelling. And
Which is so interesting because it's like, yeah, he was like on that show, he was just out of nowhere. And it's like, oh, wait a minute.
yelling.
It's
Maybe
a
he
little
went to
too
therapy.
loud.
He went to therapy. That's what he
Probably.
went, girl. Yeah, he went to therapy because
Probably.
something switched. So
Probably.
I don't want Lito to come back.
Especially if
Um,
he's doing what he was doing to Justin
Hayes,
and
I
to
don't
other
want
people.
him to come back. Hayes or whatever his name is. The asthma boy, you don't need to be in this house because, girl, that's a liability.
Mm.
We don't want to do that or whatever the case may be. Steven, stay at work or work overtime, stay out of fights. I would love for a Rocky to come back. I want someone to put him in his place because I think the points that
I'd be
he's
interested in
saying
him
on.
coming back and doing a better job than he did this. Like, come back outside of your friends. Don't come with your friends.
Exactly. Stand on your own. I feel like
Actually,
none of them was standing on their own.
I am so glad you brought that up. Me. Um,
What?
I was talking about myself.
I brought that up. What are you talking about?
No, girl, I did. Anyways, honestly, this goes back to this whole conversation that we kind of have every once in a while when we watch reality shows. It's like one of the reasons that we didn't fully enjoy, the later seasons of Chasing Dallas and certain other shows is that they bring their friends with them. And I think that's what we want. I want y'all to stop bringing your friends on.
Mm-hmm.
Do the show without your friend group. Do something that is not break up these groups,
Clicks.
cliques. Break them up. I don't want to see another episode or something and y'all come in as groups of people who know each other outside of the show and next thing you know, y'all have clicked up and now there's no breakable bond with that clique. Now it's just we're together and whoever's outside of us, we gotta hate instantly. I'm
Because
tired
I'm
of
quite
that.
sure we know how the conversation gonna go if they do something. Girl, now you know pussy bigger than us. We was friends outside the show. Morning, we was friends outside the show. Now see, we can't have that. We are not trying to break up no friendship. We was trying to break up some friendship that's new. And
Exactly.
it was new friendships. So yeah, I definitely agree on that. And then we
Mm-hmm.
can have better content. And I want Rocky to stand alone by himself. I don't need to be taken down.
Yes. But I think
Because I
that's
want to
it.
see if that mouth is going to carry or
We
whatever the case is. Because honestly, something it's different when you fighting alone versus fighting in a group of friends because you know they're not going to let it get too crazy. Get
mm-hmm.
your ass whooped. So let's be very clear about that. So that's the only way you feel secure and safe. But Ace, he was on his own with Justin, but you had more majority than Ace had. So yeah, I just
I
want
love how
to.
you keep changing his name. I love that so much.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, it's Daddy when I'm in the bedroom.
So anyways, girl, and that's it. That's enough. Go for it. I'm tired. I'm tired.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't got no energy.
And I did one. Oh, yeah, we did. Yeah, we brought up the. Okay, yeah. Okay, we did. I think we talked about everything. Okay, you
Mm-hmm.
guys. So let's just get on out of here. We spent a little long on these girls,
We
more than they
did.
deserve.
We
So,
did.
we really, really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, this is
And
part two.
part two, the reunion. I think we're gonna put the reunion and all that together. It depends on how we feel because we
Honestly,
might
we
be
probably just watch it. I'm just gonna be honest. I probably just want to watch it if they have one. If they have a reunion, but that's
Mhm.
enough. That's
They
enough.
are supposed to be doing it this week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this week they're
Oh
doing
yeah, they did say that. We're just gonna watch it. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm not really invested in going out of my way, and
it. Hmm.
we just gonna watch it.
We'll see, girl. You never know. We do have the Hot Boys coming a little bit later. I know they took a pause because they haven't posted this week. The
Hmm.
time that we're
By the time
recording this.
by the time this comes up, they hadn't put anything the week of,
Hmm.
but we will try to catch up. What we're planning on doing is we're just gonna watch a couple of episodes, like maybe a couple of episodes, and give our honest opinion
Oh, I
about the
already
cast.
watched all of them. I already know exactly who I like and
Okay,
who I
that's not
don't
what they
like.
asked for. That is not what they asked for. What they asked for is what I just said, and that is it. Thank you
What was
very
what?
much. What I just said.
You ain't say
I'm
nothing
that
what
girl.
I said.
That's it. Done. Anyways, girl. Ooh, somebody just. Ugh. You cannot find good
Okay.
help, you guys.
Oh, hold on. You getting
You
beside
can't
yourself?
find good help, you guys.
Oh,
Anyways, oh
girl.
Lord.
Oh, and we want you guys to be safe out here. We heard the monkeypox. What is monkeypox?
Yes.
Monkeypox.
Yes. That's what it's called, girl. You keep saying it, but you're saying it right.
Oh, and you're like, I'm trying to make myself wrong. Cause I'm like, am I saying it right or whatever the case may be?
You
We want you
literally
guys
said it three
to.
times, and you're like, "Is that how I said it?" It's you said it right. You said it right all three times, girl. What are we doing?
They actually have a vaccine for it. So you guys try to get the vaccine if you guys are out there. Just
Yes. Take
protect
care of
you guys.
yourself.
Protect
Take care of
yourselves.
yourself.
We love everybody. We want y'all to love yourselves and
No, we don't.
love anybody. Okay, besides Rocky and Lilo. Um,
Ooh, well,
well, I'm not changing how I feel. And also, you guys, check out for G Status. It's supposed to be coming out real soon.
yeah,
Pretty sure that
that'll
once
be
you hear
interesting.
this, it's already out. We will be reviewing that, but I think
We'll
we're doing
see.
what
We'll see.
we'll give it in bulks, or whatever the case may
Okay,
be.
I
Well,
guess we'll see. We'll see.
We'll get it. All right, you guys, let's get on out of here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Bye, you guys.
I'm a lord.
And I am Tato.
This is the T.O. show.
You know how we
Just
do.
to.
Those girls, that's what it is.
Huh. Is that it? Just to. Yeah, two heifers. There you go. Bye.
Okay, girl. Bye.